Hi, everybody. My name is Victor Devora, your host for Groundwork, the CKU Podcast. I'm joined by the one and only Benjamin Fetherston.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Um, you're the one with the busiest schedule out of all of us. Okay, um, but Ben, how you been?
Good, man. Good. Staying busy.
Yeah,
Staying busy. Summer's almost over. School's almost started, which gets busier. So, yeah,
did you have a good summer?
was good. Fast, but it was good.
Took a break from coaching.
Yes, I did not coach 3v3. That's the busy time for my daughter in her sports. So, kind of spent more time on her and took a break from coaching 3v3 and let my boys just play. So,
Cool. Ben, I know who you are, but I want the people to know who you are, besides just the guy who yells on the field. So go ahead, let the world know.
well, I don't really yell at my players. I yell to my players, so they can hear me. Um, but Ben Fetherson, originally from Mesa, Arizona, came out here in 2005, and yes, that ages me a little bit. But came out here in 2005, played at Kansas Wesleyan for 4 years, and been coaching ever since. Moved to Wichita for a few years, coached down there with Kansas Rush, and I'll shout out to Adam Hunter a little later. But came back here once we started having kids, be closer to family. And when I came back here in 2015, the soccer scene was not as strong as it was when I left. So I took over some girls teams, solid girls teams. There was one player in particular, name was Princess Leia, something like that. No, but they were fun. Two teams about the same age. They were when I took them over. I think one was 11s, one was 12s. So we kind of intermixed, some of those players, but they were a lot of fun. And those players, a lot of them ended up playing in high school, college, and so on, and still keep in touch with some of them. So now I've got my son who says soccer is his number one. So that makes my father heart happy. So,
And what team is that?
which team? What you talking about?
Your son's team.
Oh, CKU Crew.
Yes.
Yeah, the Crew.
So for those who don't know, the Crew is actually the original CKU. They're the first ones who took this idea, and when Juan and I first had talked to Ben about it, our plan was to just kind of slowly roll it. And now Ben just said, "I'm done. I'm out." And
we're getting our uniforms now.
We didn't even get to see the uniforms first until Ben, sent us a picture and said, "These are sweet," and we're like, "Oh, well, Ben is the first CKU team." So shout out to the Crew. Um, for me, Ben, that's probably one of our most successful CKU teams out there. It runs very fluidly. It runs smooth. My favorite activity to do when I'm not coaching is to go see what field you guys are on and see what you guys are doing. You guys compete well, and I watch your training sessions. And I made that joke that you yell at them, but no, what you do is you mold them and you stick to their script that you've had, and it's worked out very well.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and tell us what that philosophy is for you.
Well, my philosophy has a lot of different parts. There is a physical side to the game and there's a mental side to the game. But it all starts when I moved down to Wichita and started coaching down there. Didn't really have a philosophy. I was all about playing gameplay. Gameplay is what makes you better. Gameplay is what makes you better, and I still believe that. But most of these kids that are on Crew, I've had since they were 4, 5, 6 playing at the Y. Um, you know, adding players here and there as we go, but my philosophy from there was individual skill nonstop. Individual skill, touches on the ball, thousands of touches a day at practice. And even so now we're moving up to U11 this year, but I've got 8 and 9-year-olds. And the first 30 to 40 minutes of every practice is still individual skills, individual touches on the ball. And I think that, yes, soccer is a team sport, but if you can't dribble a ball, you're not very beneficial for your team. So I believe heavily in 1v1 attacking is going to get you into that attacking third and have that ability to finish. So we with crew, Nick and myself both, heavily individual skill. And that leads me to the mental side of things. These boys want it. They are so competitive. They compete at the highest level at practice, and I instill that in them. Like, guys, we're not just here to practice. We're here to get better. We're here to push your teammates to the next level, and they feed into that so well. It's so this group of boys is just nuts. The amount of the competitive nature that they hold is far away from any other sport I've ever coached, been a part of. Like, even when I was a kid, I don't remember it being this heated at practice sometimes. And I think that's what pushes them to that next level as well.
And so, Ben, I'm going to touch on that point. You said you're going into U11, but you have 8 and 9-year-olds.
Sure do.
That to me is bravo, right? I'm going now on to year 7 as coaching, and I have always been the biggest firm believer that playing up is an advantage, because at the end of the day, this 8-9-year-old that's going to go play against 11-year-olds is going to probably not shine, but he's going to shine one day. And it's really showing when you have players, and I'm just going to give a couple shout outs, but like Adrian Lara, who has always played a year, if not 2 years up. Shout out to Griffin Gallion out of Hutchinson, who is now an MLS Next prospect, who has always played 2 years up. And so they may not shine now, and it may be an uphill battle, but I respect coaches who do put their kids through those challenges. But what are some challenges you see with those kids?
Size. And really that's it. Because like I said, our technical ability is what we push for. The individual technical ability is what we go hard with every day at practice. So the technical ability is there. Speed and strength is the biggest downfall. But if you are skilled enough to beat a defender with the ball stuck to your foot, or hit a 1-2 with a teammate, ball sticking to your foot, because you've worked on that touch, you've worked on that technical ability, size and strength doesn't matter. I love this game for that reason. Growing up, high school, college even, we had some small kids compared to some of those teams we were playing against, and it didn't matter. But to go along with your story of some of those names, when I coached in Wichita, I had 6 girls on 2 of my teams. So I had 2 teams. 6 girls total played up. All 6 of those girls played either Division I or Division II college soccer. Even here, I had a couple girls playing up. One more recently, Giselle Nash, played up most of her life and is now leaving Butler and going to play up in South Dakota. So huge for her. But I do believe that when you play up, it's a whole different challenge. So this past season, we ended up middle of the road, Division II, Wichita, playing U10. But that's right where we need to be. It's all about the challenge. The results are not what we're looking for. It's the challenge. It's the development. It's getting better. So when they get to a point in deciding soccer is what I want to do with my life, or soccer is what I want to do in college to help me get a degree, they've done all the groundwork. See what I did there?
Yes.
They've done all the groundwork and playing up and challenging themselves, and not just worrying about winning games at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, but they're pushing themselves to play against these bigger players, to play against these faster players. And I mean, I've got some small kids on my team, and you come watch us play against some of those older kids, we don't look small because of how we play. And it's all about the challenge. It's all about the competitive nature. And like I said, if you have that technical ability and that ball is able to stick to your foot because you constantly have a ball on your foot, the size and speed, yes, it's a detriment, but it doesn't hurt us. we find other ways. So,
And so I'm going to tie in a little bit into your coaching background now. So you used to coach at Salina South High.
mm-hmm.
Um, Huge change, coaching 18-year-olds, anywhere from 15 to 18-year-olds to 8, 9-year-olds. Um, and you've probably done it in the past, but for me, for example, when I strictly did, high school boys, and then this last year, unfortunately, there was so coach got hurt and I had to step in for him. I did have to change my ways a little bit. How was that transition for you?
I didn't really change my ways. I think that I think that it's important for the kids to know the knowledge that I have is going to help them. Do I know everything? Absolutely not. Do I portray myself to an 8 and 9-year-old boy that I do know everything? Absolutely, because for them to get better, they have to trust you. And if you say one thing one day and then the next time you're going back on that, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to believe in you. They're not going to feel like they're going to get better. So to be honest, I didn't really change my methods. I mean, I was loud in coaching high school just like I am now. Thanks, Dad. Giving me that voice. But when you coach the game, it really doesn't matter the level. If you show your passion for the game to a kid of any age, they're going to feed off that passion and they're going to start to love and develop the passion for the game as well. So no, I mean, yes, I probably don't say some type of words that I used to say coaching high school soccer. But I also feel like the delivery of the information is all the same. Of course, when you're starting with something new with a younger kid, 8, 9, even 5-year-olds, when I took them over, you have to use different vocabulary than you would use with a high school kid. But at some point, you mix in that higher level soccer vocabulary so they know what you're talking about and they know what it means when they move forward with the game. So,
We talk about the vocabulary that we use. Do you share it with your younger ones, like your experiences, right?
mm-hmm.
How it was playing in Arizona
Mm-hmm.
versus playing here in Kansas. I'm sure there's a different style of play.
Yeah.
So how do you use that experience from playing in Arizona to coming here?
So speaking of different style of play, it is, well, at least in late 90s, early 2000s, it big difference. Even when I came here to Kansas Wesleyan, my recruiting class was like half California, about a fourth Arizona, and then some Texas, New Mexico mixed in. We didn't have any Kansas kids at all in 2005 when I was recruiting, maybe one or two. But our style of play was very technical. And when you think of, we weren't as good as them, but Barcelona, where it's ping, 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 very technical with the ball at our feet. And we were playing against cornbread Kansas boys that were just huge, super physical. So there was a big difference at that time, but I think that technical nature of soccer is really coming into Kansas over these last 10 to 15 years, probably, where now you're seeing more skillful players and not just brutes, and there probably was very skilled players back then but you remember the big guys that ran people over more than you do the little tiki-taka guys. But big difference in style of play from where I grew up to when I came here. But I'm using my experiences from Arizona as well. I had a Brazilian coach when I first started playing club at the age of 9, and Vinicius dos Santos. Probably, I don't even know where he's at now, but he would 45 minutes of practice. 45 minutes of our hour and a half practice was all individual technical skill. Dribbling, moves, collecting the ball out of the air, striking the ball out of the air. And that was really before I decided to be a goalkeeper. So that helped me, though, when I did decide at the age of 11, goalkeeper is what I want to do, my teams weren't afraid to play me the ball, because I had the foot skills that my Brazilian coach was instilling in us. And I think that technical nature of soccer has really formed itself in the Midwest pretty strong here recently.
And I want to say within CKU why it's shifting that way. Just going to say it. A lot of our coaches are from California, or at some point had something to do with either that west side of the United States. You're from Arizona. Sergio played in California.
Yep.
Juan is from California. Brian Cano in our first and pre-K divisions from California. So a lot of our players and coaches that have come here, even prior to those guys, right? Shout out to Mike Dabini, but he only shopped on that side of the United States. And so even some of those guys that came over and stayed are from that area. And so that's why I feel like adapting and bringing that play style here has been important for our development.
Sure.
And so, but Ben, I want to circle back to you. My favorite question always is when they ask me is, why do you do it, right? What's your why?
I would say since I was able to walk, there was a love. My uncle is the reason I started to play. My uncle is the reason I do a lot of things right now. But in all honesty, it's my boy. Croy is the reason I do what I do, at least on the soccer field. He's always got a ball on his foot at home. Mom don't like it sometimes, but kicking balls around the house. But really, outside of that's the selfish answer. It's for my boy, and trying to develop the passion that I have for the game and show him what it means to me, so that he can develop that same thing. So that's the selfish answer. The unselfish answer is every single time these kids complete something that I'm asking them to do, whether it's a new move, teaching them the Matthews, which that's an older name for the move, but I still use those older names. The Preki, teaching them the Preki move. Like when they complete it and they look up at you with their eyes like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like that is the best thing in the whole world. And then when they use it in a game, and then after they complete the Preki and they finish in the bottom corner and they look at you and they're like, best feeling in the world, man. I don't do it for the fame, for sure. I could care less how many games we win. If these kids come off the field and they look at me and they say, Coach, we gave everything we had on that field. We did everything we possibly could. Did you see my move? Best feeling in the world. So many parents, so many other coaches, not CKU per se, but around the nation, when they get to a certain competitive level, they're win at all costs. And yes, we all like to win. We all love to win. Totally understand that. But when these kids, you can physically see them getting better day in and day out. That is why I do what I do. The goal is to not only shape them as a soccer player and being the best player that they can be, but the goal is to turn them into a human being, a quality human being in society, treating people with respect, with kindness, and sportsmanship goes a long way. But sure, we fight to win. Every game we're fighting to win. But if they come off and they're happy with the performance that they put in, and they come off with a smile, did you see my move? Did you see my goal? Did you see that cross I had? It's everything for me, man. The love that they have for the game, the love that this crew team has for the game, is why I do what I do.
That's a great answer.
Left you speechless.
You did leave me speechless,
good,
man.
Good. This is really good.
Shout out to Balanced Nutrition. My favorite flavor, I think it's cucumber watermelon.
Yeah. It's got the sweetness of the watermelon, but you got the cucumber that
very
dulls it out a
refreshing,
little bit. Yeah.
especially on these very hot days.
Not too bad today.
No, not today. Yesterday was horrible. But Ben, in terms of personal development, what do you do to stay current with the game? I like to uh, just watch different coaching
Mm-hmm.
styles. So I know I'm a Barcelona guy, but I love what Hansi Flick does with Barcelona,
Mm-hmm.
and I love what like Pep Guardiola does. Two
Sure.
separate styles of play, but what do you do to continuously like keep yourself updated? Because at some point, some of our old methods quit working.
Sure. Sure. And I will say this: it's hard for me, as a Chelsea guy. It's hard for me to watch a coach because we can't seem to keep one in the position for too long. I mean, Club World Cup champions, but um,
Preseason tournament. Sorry.
it's fine. It's fine. You'll be all right. No, I this all goes back to when I started coaching competitively in Wichita, um, early 2010s, 2011, and the director of coaching for was EFC at the time, Evolution Football Club, transitioned into Kansas Rush Wichita, but our director of coaching, Adam Hunter, is the reason I believe what I believe. It's the reason I do things the way that I do them. So there are times where I'll go to a Butler game and I'll just watch him. Yes, I want to watch the game because I've got girls that I used to coach when they were younger that have played there. Um, the other Nash sisters are still there, but I watch him. I watch what he does. I watch the warm up that and how they install all of their things just in their warm up so that they're ready to play. But Adam is the reason, not the reason. Adam has given me the tools that has shaped the way I believe about the game. But other than that, too, we're always watching TV. We're always not always watching TV. Always watching games on TV. I might be doing a workout at the same time, but Croy's like, "Hey, Barcelona's playing. Can I turn it on?" Absolutely. Let's watch. Um, so I think watching the game, and I'm trying to teach him this as well, but watching the game on TV or in a professional nature teaches them so much about the game as well. Not only me as a coach, but that's where you start to learn the tactical side of things. So right now, them being 8, 9 years old, it's heavy technical, heavy technical, heavy technical. But at some point, it turns into that tactical side, where you're starting to look more at the shape and how things move together. So I watch a lot of professional soccer. Honestly, like social media is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I watch a lot of videos on Instagram, just getting different ideas on how to do the same things we're already doing, but in a different way so that the boys don't feel like, gosh, we've already done this like 3 practices in a row. So then I'll do a similar activity, but with a different shape. So that's helped out quite a bit. But I really do think it's just watching the game, pulling from other coaches, and also picking the brains of other coaches. Adam came and watched us play this last season, and I asked him quite like, "Hey, what do I do in this situation?" And he was like, "I'm glad you asked." Gave me some information, and we moved on. So I think picking brains, watching other coaches, watching games, doesn't even have to be professional games. Going and watching a high school game and seeing what they're doing and what's working.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You joining us in Philadelphia this year?
CKU paying for it?
But first banquet.
No, talked about it, thought about it. Obviously, it just depends on the time, what's going on with having 2 kids in very competitive sports. It really just depends.
No, of course.
I've told you this before as well, with other topics that we've talked about. I'm very interested in those things and developing myself, but I won't miss their stuff.
No, I get it.
So.
Families first, and that's
Yep.
kind of what I really do preach. But it's something that I do need to practice. There's been
Yep.
times that I've kind of dipped out on other things just because I want to do something soccer related.
Sure.
And I'm starting to having to realize that soccer, although it runs my world, it doesn't need to be
Sure.
everything in
Sure.
me. So I do respect that on you. But Ben, I know you're a very busy guy, so I'm gonna ask you one last question,
Okay.
and then I'll let you go. What's one piece of advice you give any CKU player, not just the crew, not just your boy, but something every player can take from this interview?
Development is the key. It's not the wins. It's not the losses. It's not the goals that you score. It's not the outcome. It's not the results that we're looking for. It's the development to push you to be the best that you can be, to be the best human that you can be later in life. So many people, like I said earlier, concentrate on the results, wins and losses. Sure, those are great, but the development is key. Also, another thing, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. The challenge is what drives players wanting more. You know, if you're consistently beating teams 4-5-6-0, you're gonna get stagnant. You're gonna get complacent. You're not gonna want to do much more. But if you continue to push yourself, which is why we play up in Wichita, and when we go to tournaments, why most of my players are playing up is because they want that challenge. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself, because it's going to lead to bigger outcomes in the end.
Cool. Well, Ben, thank you again for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. So if you got anything else you want to say?
No, thank you.
Right.
Go CKU.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next week on next episode of Groundworks.